So our biggest contribution is going to be this.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be the particular problem that China needs solving. Once the money is lent to these countries, sovereign governments, for them to build their infrastructure projects, right? They're going to build their infrastructure project, but who is going to make sure that it's going to be built on time? Maybe mainland China themselves, fine. But once a return is generated, how is the Chinese government going to make sure that the loans given to these countries are going to be repaid on time? The risk management, the capital flow, the wiring of money, that is going to be the crucial role that I think Hong Kong is going to play. At least can help with. I can't see what kind of edge we have versus other countries, but perhaps maybe the high-ranking government officials in these respective countries would be corrupted, pocket some of the loans, and therefore need a place to launder their money. That could be a Hong Kong expertise. But with the ever clamping down on these kind of activities by the Hong Kong authorities themselves, even this particular advantage is being eroded right now. So I don't know what kind of role we're going to play, but at least right now the incentives are aligned. But as there is a saying, right? The mind is willing, but the flesh is weak. So therefore, even if we are willing to cooperate, even if we have the full incentive to cooperate to achieve the national goal of China, which is rare. But even if we have that incentive, we might not be able to do it. But at least...
Well, it tried. I mean, if you take a look at the stress that's being placed on the ITB, the innovation and technology, in other words, Hong Kong is trying to reinvent or reindustrialize Hong Kong. Now, could you explain to us the meaning of Hong Kong had lost its industry in the past decades or so, okay? We had zero clothing company. We no longer have, we don't manufacture anything.
I don't think that's a big problem. If you look at Silicon Valley, there's plenty of semiconductor chips firm that has no fabrication plants either. I'm not worried at all about these kind of things. People always say, if you talk about the ITV, are we going to start a new section now? Are we done with the...
No, I just wanted to, because
the ITV,
silver bullets.
If you think the ITV is going to play no role, the ITV is completely insignificant. The ITV stands for
we're talking about a lot of money here.
Well, it stands for the Information Technology Bureau, right?
Right.
It's gonna get how much? 5 billion. So it's about 800 million US dollars, right?
Well, let's use Hong Kong.
800 million US dollars can't even get you into the IPO of Uber.
So in other words, it won't make a dent.
It's not gonna make a... As I always say, if you look at all the statistics, this is a favorite of academics in Hong Kong. I'm sorry, Doctor. But all these academics in Hong Kong always say, you look at the GDP, percentage of GDP dedicated to Hong Kong's research and development, right? It's like a pittance. Less than 1%, or something very low. You look at Taiwan, you look at South Korea, wow, they have like many percent of their GDP towards R&D. I'm sorry, but the accounting of research and development has always been skewed in Hong Kong because we don't do it through academia. Okay, we don't do it through a research lab. Right? As I always said, the strongest engineering that Hong Kong people do is industrial operations engineering. When a man stands at a fast food store in Hong Kong, when the boss stands at the fast food store in Hong Kong, look at the manufacturing of a fried chicken leg, right? And he somehow thinks of a new way to fry that chicken leg and lowers the cost by half. That particular effort,
as long as it's not intoxicating the rest of us.
But hold on, that particular process is not accounted into the research and development statistics. But yet he has already lowered costs. He has made Hong Kong more productive, right? He's producing the same goods and services for lower costs. Isn't that a good example of how we're miscalculating all this? I mean, Hong Kong do not lack capital, okay? Hong Kong don't even lack ideas. People of Hong Kong is such a vibrant economy because we put action into our ideas. People come together and start
just like you.
Business. Right.
Exactly. You're the Hong Kong boy.
Right. I mean,
typical.
There's now increasing regulation on fundraising. Crowdsourcing, for example, is illegal in Hong Kong. But Hong Kong people don't wait. We have ideas. We have capital. We have plenty of capital. Hong Kong has 10 times per capita in bank deposits right? 10 times our GDP per capita in bank deposits, more than any other jurisdictions in the world. So
well,
much capital
actually,
in Hong
more
Kong.
than most other citizens of the world, because
Right.
you can talk to almost anybody off the street. They own a couple flats, which worth a couple million US dollars.
Right.
I mean, this is routine. Everybody.
Hong Kong consistently have more business registration done. A business registration is what you get when you want to start a business, right? Hong Kong every year has more business registration than babies born, for goodness sakes. You know, we start businesses all the time. We don't lack ideas, we don't lack
So
capital.
you really don't need the
Of course we don't need
ITB.
it. I mean, the government gave $2 billion to a venture capital fund, controlled by the government. I mean, what are they going to invest in? Are they going to invest in Uber? Or something similar?
No, the Uber just got caught. Excuse me.
Whereby every single startup, right, is challenging or subverting the current order. And therefore it will be directly challenging some sort of regulations in Hong Kong.
Right.
And therefore the government's not going to be challenging that.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they're going to be. I mean, this is just stupid. But anyways, it was suggested to them from economists of major institutions, so they're doing it because Hong Kong has a percentage of R&D, a percentage of GDP. The research and development percentage is very, very low. So that's why they're just doing it. Completely stupid.
Well,
that's not even. Well, we can afford to lose $2 billion, $1 billion here, $1 billion there. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, now we address the issue of One Belt One Road. Okay, sort of. Now,
well, the conclusion to One Belt One Road is very simple. No silver bullets announced in the policy address, but at least the incentives are aligned.
But it's going on. It's going to go.
It's going to go. We don't. I mean, it depends. There are lots of pessimists in Hong Kong that think that the One Belt One Road scheme is not even going to take off. There will be no projects ever done.
Right.
Because they simply cannot solve the question of how these countries, after borrowing, after construction of these infrastructure projects, are going to make repayment.
No.
Right? There's a reason
I'm
why.
going to ask you to repeat this phrase again because this is vital. Okay, vital for Hong Kong to realize.
Right. The One Belt One Road scheme. A lot of pessimists say might not even going to happen. There will be no projects done because they can't solve the problem of how these countries, once they've borrowed the money to build their infrastructure, repay their loans. We have had 8 years of 0% interest rates around the world. And yet if these infrastructure are still not built, there must be some inherent governing problems with these countries that makes creditors, well, scared. So, therefore, there are this One Belt, One Road. I can't see it happening. I'm a futurist, yes, but I still can't see it happening yet. Therefore, I can't even see how Hong Kong can play a part.
Well, in this book, there's a very, it has been very stressed upon certain points.
Yes.
One point that's been made no mistake. Lantau Island is going to be developed, and thus being the futuristic view of Hong Kong.
Well,
now,
I don't know.
Do you have any comment on that?
I to be honest, it's logical. It's logical to build in Lantau Island because there is a lot of land on Lantau.
Right.
But it's also very mountainous.
Right.
So the cost is going to be very high. I don't know whether it's going to be successful or not.
No, that's not how they're going to do it. Okay, they're not going to tackle with the high mountains. They're going to do landfill.
Yes, reclaim.
Because you can control the sea level that way. You can control the road and the construction. So they took shortcut. I figured that out. You can't head up the mountain and just flatten it. It ain't gonna work.
Well, we did so for one of the islands of Lantau to build our airports.
Yeah, but now they're going to don't forget they do landfill. Right. That's what they're going to do.
Those are the days without environmental assessment.
When the government is spending such huge money, it will revitalize the economy somewhat, because government spending is very important in terms of recirculating and reuse the money.
Well, the government, unfortunately, that's the Keynesian view, right?
Right.
You know, even if the government hires people to dig a hole and refill it, even though it serves no economic purpose, someone gets hired, he spends money, right? That's the Keynesian. Right. It's complete economic policy. I am an Austrian school economist. I don't abhor government spending because I think it's always going to be wasteful. It's going to always destroy capital. Leave it in the hands of a private firm so that they can take the risks themselves. The development of Lantau Island as a way to revitalize Hong Kong's economy. I think it's complete and utter waste.
Listen carefully. Repeat that again. The development of Lantau Island is
It's a waste of money. It's
a waste of money.
Right. At least government-led development of Lantau Island, because all they need to do is really, honestly, build some roads and then zone the land and auction it off. But Hong Kong's economy doesn't need revitalizing right now.
Well, basically, what you're saying
We have
with this kind of mentality, it's going to bankrupt Hong Kong.
Well, not necessarily.
Okay.
Because selling land in Hong Kong is, ever since the 1840s, has been the main revenue source for the Hong Kong government. If they can sell more land for more productive uses, is not a bad thing. So, I'm not going to be too harsh on that particular one. But in view that C.Y. Leung's first term is going to be ending in less than 14 months, I do question why is he announcing it now? It's like, you've only got 14 months. How you gonna put dynamite all over Lantau Island? How are you gonna do this?
Well, actually,
from a political reality point of view, why are you announcing this now?
I actually went to one of these briefing by the myself. I went to the briefing by the by our environment and conservation section.
Oh, okay.
I actually sit there for the entire session.
So how many people were there? Was it
load with people. There are most of the people there are. They have
it in a lecture hall or is it in a round table?
It's a lecture. It's a training room.
Training room.
The floor. Okay, in the executive building.
Because I went to see the financial secretary on behalf of my think tank.
Yeah, I'm thinking about they had addressed a lot of issues, but one of the big issues that came up is that, look, we don't have that much time left, and this session of the Lego is going to be over,
right?
And everything have to start again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But what was achieved is there's a lot of good achievement. For example, moving along with how to clean up the trashes and all that, but those is not going to solve the economy of Hong Kong.
Why do you think the economy of Hong Kong needs government help to be solved? What is wrong with Hong Kong's economy?
Explain that a little further.
I mean, you say that we need to help the economy. We have 3% unemployment rate.
Right.
Right? The insane property prices is caused by a monetary policy in which is beyond our control. Right?
Yeah, but it goes up, it'll come down.
Yeah, sure. When it comes down, then we'll people of Hong Kong will figure out a way. I mean, the thing is, the most important thing is get the government out of the economy, because the more they do, the more they're going to cloud. The more government plans, the less planning an individual can do.
But you know why I want you to say that? Okay?
Yeah.
I have been talking about, sort of naively say, look, okay, I don't like big government. Okay? People got the people's way. For example, wages, okay? The government can force, minimum wage. Actually, even the government don't do anything based on supply and demand. Okay, based on the general economy, it's going to go its own way.
Yes.
Okay, unless if you look at this section when it comes to human right, okay, it got only a paragraph about this big. Okay, in other words, Hong Kong government better pay attention to the human right issue within Hong Kong, then to lay the hands to start a big government.
Well,
okay.
If you talk about human rights, I mean, I always say liberty is the greatest human right. Right? Liberty is not only just
it's
freedom.
the fundamental right.
Right. It's not only just freedom. It's the ability to suffer the consequences or enjoy the consequences of your choices.
Autonomy.
Right. Individual autonomy. And
right.
Hong Kong had a proud tradition of that. But yes, we have introduced things like competition law, whereby raising prices might be illegal, cutting prices might be illegal, maintaining prices at this level might be illegal. Then we have introduced things like the minimum wage, which completely obliterated the apprentice system, the informal apprentice system in Hong Kong. We are encroaching more and more into a status affair. In fact, the entire world is getting more and more status. So, I bear no hope for the young people. Not only in Hong Kong, but around the world. And you will see angrier and angrier people, the young. But unfortunately, they are becoming less and less numerous because most societies are aging. and therefore the power of coercion, even in a democratic society, will be in the hands of the older folks, which want stability.
We're codifying this society left and right everywhere.
Yes, codifying would be a good word. But and unfortunately, this is the biggest problem. When you not only codify, but you also enforce those codes. Hong Kong people are Hong Kong government is extremely efficient in enforcement, right? It wasn't so during the colonial era. In the colonial era, it was laughed at as a lame duck. I don't know.
Yeah, in colonial era, they don't have enough manpower to do what they want.
Well, the reason is because if you don't enforce laws and everything becomes, well, in effect, legal, then it lends that particular place maximum flexibility to respond to whatever need surrounding areas have. For example, during the Korean War, if we enforced the United Nations embargo, which we had to because we were part of the British Empire, the United Nations passed that particular embargo. If the officers at the north of Hong Kong were efficient in stopping the smuggling operations, we'll be overrun by the People's Liberation Army within days. But yet, because they were ineffective, they let the smuggling happen, we were saved.
Well,
that's the biggest problem. That is the crux of the problem. Yet, if you go out to the streets of Hong Kong and say, you know what, maybe we should start demanding the government to be less effective, to codify less. The people of Hong Kong don't understand how to play this game, and that's why I'm emigrating. Because people of Hong Kong, even with universal suffrage, we were doomed because this trend of codifying more and more enforcement